Hello, fellow Druid enjoyers. It's never mind. So, I actually wanted to make yesterday video about the PTR notes, but I'm unfortunately back to working full time, so didn't find the time. So I decided still to do a follow up on the PTR notes when at least it comes to endgame. I want to give a little bit of insight about what I'm thinking about Druid is going to be doing next season and what I really see problematic currently with the patch notes and the class itself, and go over the patch notes, also about new uniques and the new mechanics, and see what we will probably be playing next season on the Druid with currently the PTR notes. Keep in mind that currently right now Blizzard is still keeping a lot from us. Probably they're going to reveal the whole patch notes and systems on the BlizzCon, and I'll be there and be looking at it and probably do a follow-up when we get the complete patch notes. So yeah, let's start looking at the patch notes when it comes to Druid. First of all, we got the core stats scaling increase from 125 to 1.6. So generally it's like a 30% more damage. At the end of the day, this will not affect us that big. It's like a then maybe 1 tier gain we're getting from the core stat changes. I always give my feedback about this. I believe willpower is one of the worst core stats in the game. The other core stats give you some type of armor, some type of resistance, some type of toughness, with willpower only being the only type of core stats we have in the game, which don't give you any type of toughness. I mean, historically speaking, Druid has always been one of the tougher, tankier classes. Unfortunately, right now, we're quite in a squishy spot, and this is the feedback I've always been giving Blizzard, and unfortunately, they have not been really changing it. They just give us more damage, like it's one pit tier, like whatever. You don't really need it. And further, the path seems that they really want to push us into playing human form. I mean, currently, there are not really good variants of playing human form. We just lack too many multipliers. We lack Paragon boards. We lack lives to play any human form type of damage. So the change from now, 15% resource generation and cooldown reduction is probably maybe good in leveling, but to be honest, like going 0 to 70 is a matter of a few hours, and then you get the items, and this is not anymore relevant really. And yeah, I'm not going to even talk about that. Then we come to the aspect changes. Shifter's aspect is giving now grants us, let's say, 10% damage reduction for 5 seconds while you after you shapeshifted. Which is a little bit from my side. I don't know. Just I feel like the devs don't play the class. I don't know what the problem is, but like we are playing mostly in the Grizzly Rage form. It's our strongest ultimate with an X2. That's 3.0 multiplier, and I don't think we're gonna in the near future see any build in the Druid when it comes to pushing that actually is gonna overtake Grizzly Rage. So we're locked into Grizzly Rage with the Corner Beast, unfortunately. And yeah, obviously we don't have any shapeshifting going on there, so this is another aspect without really thoughts behind it. It's just useless as it gets. Greatest stuff of the Crown, I guess I would say Screamo actually happy about this one, but I think even he knows that like this is just a little bit multiplicated and just some more damage values on a dead item and a dead build. So this is people coping for the Stormclaw coming back. This is just not gonna happen. Further flash render is again, in my opinion, just a problem with not knowing or playing the class with the changes as to Druid. You're just giving a damage multiplier, just doubling the damage on the flash render. The problem with flash render is not the damage numbers, but it's more the way it works. You get the damage boost when the tornadoes come back to you, and the gameplay is really scuffed. You can like add more and more damage on these numbers. Tornado with flash render, this will not happen in the state flash render is right now. Further, a change I do not understand, and I'm really just does make me like really get frustrated about the state of those changes that does always do for the Druid. Gatlin's Bright Rare was like one of the items that came out, was great for the Druid this season, and when we found it in PTR changes to the season, it was a thing we took up directly because it was great. It was giving us like 39 DR in the Mythic version, letting us playing also the Cyclone Armor without a skill bar. It was a great item. Yeah, for some reason Blizzard decided to make this item currently useless. So till now everything we see is just useless, just showing the lack of understanding of the class. Then we come to Mind of the Urzane. So we'll come back to the Storm Shepherd down there. Storm Shepherd like just is gutted. It's like Storm Shepherd is like useless set now. So with Storm sets being useless, obviously our next to go would be again going back to Weber form, playing Mind of the Urzane. So going back to the expansion, Might of the Urzane had these stats with a around 59, let's say, resolve stacks we had. That was like a 700 damage around, let's say, that after resolves got nerfed to 29, we're losing there around 5 tiers. And now again, with the new changes to Urzane strength, we are losing, we're coming down to around a x120 multiplier, depending on how much you masterwork resolves whatsoever. Let's say it's x120, that means we're losing another 4 tiers. So coming from where we started with Might of Urzane, with the expansion, this item has been nerfed into the ground. And even going into playing Earth Skills, probably we're going to play some Earth Skills this season. And putting even a Fractured Stone above Might of Urzane, just cutting an item so much into the ground that you'd rather take up another item is just, for me, again, something I don't understand. Might of Urzane seems to me right now was one of the best strings we had. I mean, we had the Signet, was great, got gutted. I mean, we can't even play with it anymore because it's only cold damage. Then Might of the Urzane is now also gutted. I don't know. These are, like, for me, quite some heavy nerfs we don't need. I read it in yeah, playing Storm Strike. Storm Set is dead. Like, the only reason we really enjoyed playing was Storm Strike was good was the way Storm Strike worked. I mean, the Storm Shepherd worked. Storm Shepherd is gutted. We'll come to that. Giving us this Inruxable Will. Yeah, and no, it's like, yeah. So everything we got till now are only nerfs and useless changes, which are not even considered playing the Druid. Then we come to the Talisman. Storm Shepherd, let's say, I mean, currently people are doing, the exploit with the Town Portal and whatever, getting like huge multiplicative damage, like just one of those infinite scaling damages. But we're considering just, let's say, legit numbers where probably a Storm Set will give you in 2 seconds cooldown reduction. X50 X15 times 6, so around 700 to 900 X multiplicative damage. So this is now gutted down to only 80%, so it's a 1.8 multiplier. You're losing around 20 tiers around here. And also the other awful thing is you need to heavily invest now into spirit points, because now you want to at least achieve 160 spirits. So the moment your spirits drop, you get the 80, and it does not stack anymore. So Storm Shepherd, as we knew it, is useless. Like, there's no reason to play Storm Shepherd whatsoever. Maybe only for the resource that you don't need resources, but yeah, I don't see Storm Shepherd being good. And we got a change to nothing Beastery. I mean, going through the season, it's really looking grim. I mean, Storm Shepherd is dead. The River set is useless, and the Red Wolf is useless. It's fun to do the dashing, which also got nerfed. Then we have the Old Mountain, and probably still a best set, but yeah, unfortunately, Old Mountain is not working currently, and in the PTR notes, there is no reference to the Old Mountain if it's being fixed or not. So if you go into the season legit and all our sets don't work, we might end up playing Companion again with the Beastery set, which I hope is not the case. So let's hope actually Blizzard looks into the Old Mountain and fixes it and gives us some blueprint about what they're planning there. Further, then we have the Rush of the Red Wolf Moon, like Rob would say, Fun Police detected, and I don't know, maybe there's some issues with the server performance, why they had to nerf this. I can't tell you. This was really a great thing. A lot of people enjoy playing Druid, coming back to the Druid. Yeah, unfortunately, this is gone now, and you need obviously now a target to dash. So it's like you can just play Shred or Stormclaw. If you need a target to dash, then there is no reason to play this whatsoever. Yeah, okay, that comes to at least to the patch notes. Like always, it does not seem like really much time invested into the class balance. Only nerfs. The buffs are just showing me the lack of knowledge of the class. So till now, it's a really big L for the Druid when it comes to the patch. Now we can look at the new mechanics we're gonna get this season. So considering what we're gonna play next season, I think it's gonna be really heavily Earth-oriented, because I think the only really good set we have left is the Old Mountain. But there's also a world we can play maybe Diamond Seal with 3 charms, because the new uniques are gonna be available at charms as well. So I'll also come back to that. So if you start now considering Landslide, Papa Boiler did, I think, 141 last season with his Landslide. considering back the Orison Strength lost around 9 tiers, so we will put that down to 131 something, 132. But you also got to consider now we could play, for example, Landslide with Basilisk. You could play Locran's Talisman, and also we're getting all the new season mechanics, the soul charts, whatever they're called, and that's also going to give us some tiers. So probably Landslide will still be around doing a tower 135 plus. So Landslide is a good spot. And other build, which might be an option, is the general basic skill generator with Earth Spike. We can play the Shard of Veratile, we can play Iftis Dire's Totem, and then we can also play the Basilisk as a charm. We can play again Locrans. Still gotta see which one really works better, but I'm gonna test these in the PTR. But consider these are all with the Old Mountain set. Old Mountain is currently bugged, so we have to see how it works out. And so we have the option of playing these rather than playing Old Mountain. We can also play with the new charms. So first I want to look at the new charms, and they list what we can expect. So these items are from Diablo 3. And we're not sure how they're gonna work on Diablo 4, but what's interesting, of course, we might gonna play Lyric's Crown, of course, is a helm. Further, the rest won't be that interesting as they are. We still don't know how Stone of Jordan is gonna work, and if there's still a bonus damage. So this is all not really quite sure, but this is an idea because these are the ones you can play as a charm. So this is type of execute style when the leads are like when the mobs are on 30%, you're getting a 150 increased damage scaling. Further, you can also have a 50% increased damage against elites. These are really interesting mechanics and options, but I personally think the strongest build we can play next season is more around the Soulstone. So my idea of next season is if Old Mountain works, the whole gameplay will be, before we engage elites, best case scenario, you always want to spawn elites, the 2-minute timer, and spawn 2 packs of elites. What you do is you get a whole big pack of trash elites, let's say, and you kill these really quick before you engage the elite. And from the scaling, this is an infinite scaling, it's not capped. So if you let's say if you kill like 50 trash enemies, that's like an easy one, you're getting 250x. So considering this combination might actually give you more damage than playing the new unique charms, and I've considered it as a more fun gameplay itself, especially because these are really bound to some mechanics, like saying they need to be below 30% and also making you a little bit take more damage. So I think this will be the coolest thing we could do next season, to play Old Mountain, to get a big pack of trash elites, kill them, get a huge boost, melt elites. Obviously this build has a little bit of issue when it then comes to the boss fighting, so that's why I think we need to play a build where you really melt bosses, which would also bring Companion back on the paper, because Companion usually is really good at melting bosses. That's also still an option on paper, but also Companion is just losing a lot with the Orison Strength being nerfed. So regarding the Soul Splinters, what is going to be interesting for us is obviously once the Anguish, the primary resource cost is an issue when we want to play Landslide. We might need to play Ring of the Starless Sky then to fix this issue. Further, obviously, we also see that Splinter of the Mother is really cool because now we have a source of vulnerability. You guys know we've been playing Heroes of the Storm with all that Cancer Lightning Storm every season to get a source of vulnerability with Overcharge, which was not really that much liked. So now we have a source of vulnerability, which is great. And the rest don't really seem that great. Obviously the Soul Stone we have, and probably we need to play Splinter of the Pain, because with the Gatling gone and Gatling gone, we just have another source of DR issue. So probably Splint of the Pain is definitely set in, and also Splint of Anguish is set in, and Splint of Sin is also really good for toughness. We have the same problem, the primary resource, so I think this is only a way we can play both. If we play a basic skill, playing Earth Spike, I think with Landslide this might be an issue. We have to test it out. So yeah, I consider till now Soul Stone to be the most interesting one. and I would really like to see a build being made around these. But as I said, like, we really don't know how things gonna work out, what's happening. Also, this might be copium considering Ring and the Storm of Jordan. Maybe there's a world where I really don't know how this is gonna interact. The Mark of the Old Wolf. The poison damage from werewolf skills is a question if how the Storm of Jordan might work. If it works in a way that you know that it just takes your maximum elemental damage and gives it to all the elemental damage, is a question would, for example, the poison damage from only werewolf skills count in? I doubt, but if that would be an option, this would be like a really, really crazy way to scale our elemental damage. But that's a copium, and I don't think it might work like that, but that's also an option we still have on the table. So we gotta really see in the PTR if things work out. So yeah, that's a little bit of my review of the PTR patch notes. It's not the greatest patch, to be honest, again, but keep in mind, Blizzard are still keeping a lot behind doors. They probably want to reveal the whole patch extent on BlizzCon, so I really think there's way more much to come, or else they will not put a spot on BlizzCon for this, I guess. So we can expect a lot. And yeah, looking forward to that, but still, it's a big L for the Druid. We've been nerfed a lot. And obviously, I'm going to give this feedback to Blizzard. I'm not really happy about all these nerfs, especially taking again build variety from us. Then also I would like to talk also about generally the Druid and the state of the Druid, the issues I see with the Druid right now. And so when it comes to the current problems I see with the Druid, where I would love to see some improvement, is especially when it comes to the ultimate skills. The scaling of the ultimate skills is really lackluster. And for example, if you have not known it, if you put point into Grizzly Rage and putting all your points into Grizzly Rage, all you get at the end is probably around 2.5 seconds cooldown. So spending 15 points into Grizzly Rage is worth 2.5 seconds cooldown on a 80 seconds or like in here 102 seconds cooldown ultimate skill. So this is one of the biggest problems because Grizzly Rage is for sure our strongest ultimate. These two are. We have the Petrify as a rune. Like you just come play a rune rather than playing the ultimate. That's the red is dead, and also the scale on Cataclysm is just not really that great. But that's a different story. So Grizzly Rage itself, I see as an issue first of all because you always need to play Corner Beast. It's like the biggest damage multiplier we have on the Druids. And looking at the other alternatives, immunity just feels like Blizzard need to fill something in there. Just threw something in there. It really looks awful. Avatar of Nature is really interesting, but the problem is obviously when you're losing so much damage, you will always play around the Corner Beast. So for example, I had an idea about putting Grizzly Rage in the style, integrating Corner Beast into the Grizzly Rage itself, and actually giving us some build variety. I think this would be cool. Just putting in Corner Beast into the Grizzly Rage, give actually some meaningful scaling to the ultimates on the Druid, because spending 15 points into Grizzly Rage gives you 2.5 seconds cooldown reduction. That's all. That's a big issue I see currently with the class itself. Further, yeah, we're always being restricted into playing one form, and for example, all the Earth skills being only Verbear and Human, and also Storm skills all being Werewolf for Human. It just restricts build variety. Also, our boons are always locked in. You're always going to play Calamity. You're always going to play Combat for the Storm. Overlord is gone now. You're always going to play Avian's Wrath, and you're like, you don't have anything interesting. Currently, the boons also for me is really lackluster. No diversity, nothing really crazy out of meta. It's always the same 3 boons you have, and you're like, whatever you want to put in here, and somewhere take 1 boon, whatever. It's not really interesting. Feels really lackluster when it comes to this part. That's one thing I really don't like currently, and I just would like to see changes. Also, as I mentioned before, I just consider the class is really squishy. Druid, historically always was the one tough, tanky class, and there are things I would like to see changed, and willpower scale and just the worst core skill in the game. I feel it just gives you nothing but a lower damage, which is at the end. Even the buffs they gave is 1 tier more damage. It's like, I don't need that. So yeah, I would generally like to see some changes to the class itself, and especially the skill tree. The Paragons are just lackluster, and yeah, looking forward to the next season. Currently, unfortunately, Druid is at the bad spot, but I think we'll still be able to do Tower 135 next season. I just don't hope any Blizzard devs sees this again, or they're going to nerf us more. But Tower 135 plus should be in it next season. The question is what we're going to play. We got to test that on the PTR. Unfortunately, the final patch notes are just going to drop right at the BlizzCon, 1 day before the season starts, and also be at BlizzCon, so not really much time theory crafting their new builds. So it's also feels like we're really going blind into next season, which I don't like really. But yeah, but it is what it is currently. So yeah, thanks for watching the video, and yeah, that's more deep insight, I think, into what you can expect next season on Druid. GG, thanks for watching, and stay well and keep shifting.